all about it.
Hello, welcome to Day One Patch Podcast, episode 2.
No, it's not a welcome.
I don't have it written down.
It's not-
262? 261?
It's not a welcome because
Matt?
that damn book came back out.
What episode is it we on?
262.
You know this for sure?
I know this 100%
That is
sure.
that is accurate.
Because I was listening to 261 on my way over here.
Oh, wow. Catching up on the old podcast.
I do my
Real.
research.
Well, thank you for listening. Tim, this
What?
is an honor to have you back.
It's been a while.
Has it?
So I brought
It's
out
been like
a
100
special
episodes.
book, Matt's favorite book, actually. Late Show Fun Fact. And now, normally I read through these and try to find funny ones.
Sure.
I'm just going to pick one out.
Yeah.
The first one I see.
I'm pretty sure this is exactly what happened the last time that I was on, so.
Okay, that one's outdated, so...
No, you got to say it. That's it.
All right.
What is
all
it
right.
about, like the intro of Twitter?
By the year 2012, thanks to genetic engineering, we will be enjoying actual buffalo wings.
God damn it.
For the uninitiated, these are Late Show with David Letterman fun facts.
Those were good, though.
What? That one was
The
good?
fun facts. They were always so good.
On Letterman's show?
On Letterman, yeah.
Yeah. But this was the book. They put it into print.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you bought it?
You bought
Yeah,
it.
I'm a big Letterman fan.
Sold.
So
Sadly bought it?
this one's kind of topical. Archaeologists believe Egypt's pyramids may have been built by using illegal Mexican labor.
Oh,
What the fuck?
man. They got the Mexicans to pay for it.
Yeah. They got it done.
Everyone's mad at Trump. Nobody ever pointed any fingers at Egypt. That's terrible. What are we even talking about?
I'm not even sure what the
This
hell
is
we're
supposed to
talking
be a
about.
video game podcast.
That's why I had to go silent because I literally didn't have anything to
Matt,
add.
you got some Italian in you?
Yeah.
19% of Americans believe it's cruel to drop spaghetti into boiling water.
I'm not going to laugh.
It's okay, because I did.
I like this. This one's pretty good.
No, you said one fact.
In the early draft of Dr. Seuss classic, The Green Eggs and Ham came with a side of home fries.
I remember that one.
You remember that one?
Yes, I remember that
It's really
one.
good. Go on.
The early draft came with a side of fries.
Joseph Stalin's secret to staying young was to laugh every single day. Come on, Matt.
No, I don't.
He's just denying it now. He's just doing it
Before the stapler was invented, everything had to fit on one page.
Fuck.
That's why those centerfolds in Playboy had to be like folded paper.
I don't know what that means.
All right.
The centerfolds had to be folded paper.
The centerfold in a Playboy magazine.
Yeah.
You know, you like turn it sideways, it folds out.
Oh, yeah.
That was the
And
joke.
waterproof. Stain resistant.
Gross. Sanders?
Stain resistant, not Sanders.
Colonel Sanders fold out?
What the hell?
We'll get to that later.
Oh, yeah. More on that later.
But first, some music.
Damn it. Thanks, $3.
See, now some of these I wonder if they're actually fun facts.
Not
I wonder
very
if
fun,
I wonder if they mix some in here that are actual facts.
Doubt it.
The seagull is the bird most likely to take a crap on your shoulder.
The seagull.
Yeah.
Is it just because there are so many
There's
Would
just
it be-
seagulls.
would it be a pigeon?
near land?
Huh?
Would it be a pigeon due to like the amount of
it's
people
probably a
in a
pigeon.
city and the amount of
Yeah.
pigeons and the lack of airspace to fly?
Maybe they're seagulls.
Maybe it's a maybe it's a seagull sequel.
Maybe pigeons are just the gulls of the city.
I thought those were bagels.
Bagels?
Bagels.
Very good. That's a good one. That should be in the fun facts.
Boom. tsh.
Probably is in there
All
somewhere.
right. 10
Anyway.
more, and we'll move on.
Oh
All
my
right, here we
God.
go.
Anyway,
Uh,
I'm Ryan Johnson. Welcome to the Day One Patch Media Podcast.
Until 1922, the president and vice president shared a bed.
Why 92?
1922.
22, sorry.
Why any year?
You know what's really good for a
Wow,
podcast
wow.
is dead air.
That's what I was going to say. I'm like, this is an
I would-
engaging episode
I would
262
hardly call this a podcast.
or 261.
We're filling time here since Adriano's gone.
We have a bunch of stories.
Prior to 1900, the Chinese ate with 3 chopsticks.
What are we talking about?
I don't even get that one.
What do you mean?
Like, I don't know.
They ate with 2 chopsticks,
Yeah.
but prior to 1900, they ate with 3 chopsticks.
Doesn't make any sense.
I'm going to say right now that I friggin' cannot use chopsticks to eat rice. It's hell.
It's because you're not
wow.
eating the right kind of rice.
Listen
You
to this
can
one.
only eat sticky rice.
Well, I
not
tried to
only,
eat
but, like,
regular rice and it was
yeah.
hell.
It doesn't work.
Neil Armstrong was also the first man on Mrs. Armstrong.
No,
That's dumb.
that might be accurate. That could be accurate.
Could be.
Should be. Would be.
More dead air.
You know, they say it takes 3 seconds for silence to become awkward.
3?
2. There it is.
I don't really get weirded out by silences. Something happened to me when I was just like,
Well, you're
I
also
don't care.
You're also the guy that drives everywhere with no music on the radio.
Oh yeah.
Like you're just.
But
all the
silence
time.
doesn't bother you when you're alone. It's only when there's someone else there and you feel obligated to talk.
No, I in my older age, I just don't care. That person doesn't want to talk. Way the road, buddy.
In your old age.
Sheep ranchers counting the number of animals in their herd often doze off. Again, might be true.
Could be true.
Yeah.
Because it's probably really fucking boring. They get like the lifeguard fatigue where you can only stare at the same like waves for 30 minutes and then your brain starts to shut off because you're not seeing anything new.
On his deathbed, Harpo Marx honked a heartfelt goodbye to his family.
I don't know what that means. I don't know who that is.
2 out of 5 airline pilots have a child named Niner. Again, could be true.
I highly doubt it.
Wouldn't you name your kid Niner if you were?
No.
No, that's a dumb name.
Don't tell it to these guys.
I will.
Whoa.
I
Ew.
grew up in the aviation industry, and that wasn't the case.
Niners all around.
No.
You're Tim Niner, right?
Well, yeah, but that's beside the point.
Damn it.
When life hands you gators, make it Gatorade.
I knew that's where that was
There
going.
we
God
go.
damn it.
Ooh, Matt enjoyed that a lot, didn't you, Matt?
Yeah, sort of the audience.
Did I introduce you guys? That's
Fell out of his seat.
Tim
He did.
Spence over there. That's Matt Lawrence. I'm Ryan Johnson, your host. This is Day One Patch Podcast. Top stories for today. Borderlands 3. Bit of controversy.
Is it
on
good?
The performance.
Who knows?
It's getting good reviews, but the fine folks at Reddit say otherwise.
It's true. I mean,
Some performance issues on multiple consoles and PC.
even PC. Take that, Master Race.
We also have Anthem is being dumped on EA Access. Now,
Dumped.
I like the word dumped. It's not like just put on EA
Yeah.
Access. It was dumped on EA
It
Access.
implies a good sound effect.
Polygon's words, not mine.
It's like here's Anthem.
Here's a game Matt will be checking out. KFC is launching a Colonel Sanders dating sim.
I can't wait.
Matt's already put in hours and hours.
I mean, I'll download it.
See?
Yeah, there you go. Matt's I think got 1,000 hours in Doki Doki Club literature.
I don't know what that is, but and so no, I'm going to say no.
And also, Ubisoft will not return to creating shorter games, according to their CEO.
What constitutes a shorter Ubisoft
So
game? Like
one of the examples used was, oddly enough, Assassin's Creed Unity in comparison to Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Odyssey, massive game. One of my favorite games, actually. But
Never-
massive game.
I didn't play any Assassin's Creed game
But-
after 4.
We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
You should play Syndicate, though. That's a good one.
I
If you have an itching,
believe I own it.
if you got an itching for the like older classic style of
Right.
Assassin's Creed,
Yeah.
Syndicate's the last good one for those.
I have no money for this doctor.
And then Matt has a query corner question for us.
Yeah.
And I'll give you a little tease here: grind or progress.
It's the
So
name of
that's
the
all.
nightclub that I'm opening up soon, actually.
Oh, there you go.
I hear Colonel Sanders will be there.
Right.
Colonel Sanders is going to be there.
Right beside Sugar Daddies.
So those are the top stories for this week. We're going to start off with what's new, though. Tim, you're our guest of honor.
I am.
What is new?
Nothing.
Hmm?
It's really open for the
Drinking
guy.
my
That was
tea over
that
here.
was a a big stone face, like nothing. I was like, oh fuck, he's serious for a
Yeah.
second.
I was kind of hoping for a spit take from Ryan, but it didn't happen. So
All of my iPad.
yeah,
Yeah.
just
It's water resistant, isn't it?
Not the iPad, no.
No?
Sorry.
certain liquids.
I mean, it would probably be fine, realistically.
Yeah, unless I got drenched, probably. But
Yeah.
please don't try that at home.
So what are you playing? What games you got going? What are you streaming?
I'm only playing 3 games consistently.
Mm-hmm.
Playing Monster Hunter World Iceborne,
Mm.
playing Kingdom Come Deliverance, and World of Warcraft Classic.
Tell us about those.
And I will talk at length about any of them.
At length.
Well, Classic's the big thing right now going on. Everyone's talking about the Classic.
Classic's pretty big.
Yeah. Did you play? Were you around? Were you live back then? Playing the original.
I started playing a month before Burning Crusade came out. So that was about November of 2006, I believe.
Jeez, that was a long time ago.
I was 13.
So you getting all the nostalgia feels.
Kind of, yeah.
So what is the purpose of this?
The purpose of playing Classic?
Yeah.
Just people that missed when it was
Fresh.
a more engaging game, I think. Because every expansion that came out, it got simpler and simpler. The game wasn't so much about exploring the world, and it wasn't about, doing raids and working as a team to achieve difficult things. It just sort of became about collecting mounts and collecting critters like Pokemon and collecting hats and collecting transmog equipment. Like the game wasn't about the game anymore.
But did the expansions change that core game? Like, isn't the base game always technically there, or no? Did they completely wipe that out?
Well, like there's the base meta of an MMO that's like grind out quests and collect gear and level up so that you can do harder things at the end of the game. Like that's always there, but the original focus of like Classic was on the exploration. It was on the leveling up. Like it wasn't until Wrath of the Lich King that it was really about like end game content, where there was a major focus on raids and high rank arena and PvP and getting the higher tier armors and things like that. But they're really encouraging people to get to max level and then stay there and keep grinding out the end game stuff.
Right.
But Burning Crusade and especially Classic were more about exploring the world, learning the lore, reading the quest logs, playing with your friends, adventuring in this big open world that was new at the time. Like, I used to just run all around in the world. Like, I didn't quest. I didn't hit level cap when I played. It wasn't until Wrath of the Lich King that I actually hit the level cap.
Wow.
The highest I got in base game was like 26 out of 60. Like, it was, and that was months of playing, because all I would do was just run around and like look at places. Because I played a lot of Warcraft 3. And I was like, oh, I remember this place. Oh, look at this. This is what Lordaeron is like now after Arthas destroyed it, and like all this stuff. Because it was like you were playing through that world at the time, which was really cool. And now it's like totally different, because it's almost, I think they confirmed it's like a different timeline.
Oh, jeez.
But I don't actually know. I was huge into Warcraft lore as a kid. I loved it.
So
I still love it.
Prior to Classic, when was the last time you played WoW?
2014.
Okay.
I played when I was working in town at the meat shop, and the guy that I worked with played a lot of WoW, and he was talking about it all the time, and we bonded over talking about World of Warcraft. And I was like, I loved it as a kid, and he was like, you got to play it again. And I was like, I tried when in like Cataclysm, I didn't like it. And he's like, I will pay for your subscription for a month, and we'll play together. So I was like, okay, whatever. So we played together a little bit, and he was like me, where he didn't want to reach the end game. He just wanted to level up. He just wanted to do the quests and like complete everything, because the retail like base version of the game got to the point where you could do like, like out of the 70 quests in a zone, you could do like the main 45, and now you were out leveling the quests in that zone, just because of all the gear that you got that would like increase the amount of experience. Like they really made it so that like if you recruited a friend and you partied up with them, you both got like double experience for everything. So it meant that you would like level up faster and stuff like that, right? Because the game's focus became more along keeping people playing instead of giving them content to play. It was just make sure that they're in there, because the more they're playing, the more obviously like revenue they make, right? So
let me ask you this. So we tried out ESO for a while, Aaron, Ryan, and I, and in WoW and or WoW Classic, when you say party up and you have a quest to, I don't know, walk into a place, kill 10 things, and then pull a lever, let's just say. If I kill a thing and you kill a thing and Ryan kills a thing,
everybody's at 3.
Everyone's at 3.
Yep.
Yeah, ESO doesn't do that.
Great.
But sometimes it does. It just depends. And there's no way to tell which quests are shared.
That was the thing that was kind of a big like meme in World of Warcraft Classic, was enemy drop rates for things. It was like, go out here and collect 12 raptor heads, but the drop rate on a raptor head is like 25%. So you really have to kill like 45 of them just to get 12 heads. And it's like really grindy, because it takes, a decent amount of time, 45, 50 seconds, depending on what class you're playing, to like down these raptors that are probably a level higher than you. And you have to do it again and again and again and again and again and again and again. And it's not difficult, right? It's just time consuming. And that's what the game used to be about, was spending a lot of time to achieve compared to what the game is now, to achieve the very basic goals of completing quests, leveling up your professions, training skills. Maybe like this is back in the day when characters had skill levels. Like you weren't just proficient with every weapon type. You had to save up money and then go to a weapon master who would train you as like a warrior, say, if you were an orc, you start with a two-handed axe, but if you're a dwarf, you start with a two-handed sword. So you would have to go to a trainer and learn how to use two-handed swords or axes or maces or whatever, and then you would have to go fight things with that weapon to get your weapon skill up. Because if you played level 10 and your weapon skill with two-handed swords is like 50 out of 50, and then you switch to two-handed maces, now you're at 1 out of 50. So you're going to be missing your hits. You're like not going to be hitting them. They're going to have a higher chance to dodge. It's not going to do as much damage. But every time you like attack with it, your skill goes up. So it was kind of a weird way to like make the game seem more immersive. It's like, oh, your character isn't good at this yet, but you can be if you spend enough time doing it, right? So that's probably another reason why it took me so long to level up as a hunter, is because hunters can learn to use almost every weapon type.
So you were messing around.
So
right?
I would go do a couple quests, get enough money to go learn a new weapon type, and then go buy a weapon that I liked the look of, not because it was like for my class, but because I liked the look of it. That's all I did as a kid, is I made my character look the way I wanted them to. I'd buy shitty gear because I liked the look of it.
Well, we were talking about this with I think last week, if you remember, 2077 Cyberpunk.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking at a way to fix that issue where you can look the way you want
And have the game play the way you want.
but have the better attributes of that gear
Yeah.
still apply. Now, I know in MMOs and stuff they have like the skin thing where you can just
Transmogrification, yeah.
but they sounded like they wanted to do something more detailed than just that.
Because that's what popped into my head when I was listening to you guys talking about it. I was like, oh, that's just transmog. Like, it's whatever.
Yeah,
Lots
yeah.
of games have done that
Mhm.
before. But then you watch the like gameplay trailer of that game, and there's the part when his like arms like split in half and like guns come out, or like the spider legs and shit like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, how do you get that gameplay effect, but it doesn't look like that? Like, how do you achieve that? So,
I think it has to come down to like in terms of lore, because it kind of sounds like they want it to be lore friendly too.
yeah.
It's got to be something like the tech looks a certain way, and then you insert a modular chip that makes that tech do whatever. So it's like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like it's
Yep.
like you attach an accessory, like you buy a limb, like
Yep.
in Universe you buy a limb, and then you also buy like, oh, I want a faster limb, or I want a spider limb, or whatever.
Unless it's like, let's say you complete a quest and you get awarded
A certain mod.
a certain physical item that looks a certain way.
Yeah.
But instead of it just saying this is how it now looks, and if you want it, you have to look that way, maybe they'll give you options of like 3 different looks, and you can choose which one you actually
So it always
like.
does the same thing, but it's like, do you want it to be
The
like,
attributes will be the
a thing
same.
you're sitting on, or you're floating, or your legs change to spider legs?
Well,
or something
I mean,
like that.
even-
They all
I
achieve the
mean,
same effect, but it looks different.
I'm thinking even simpler than just that. I'm just talking like a guy's jacket even. You know what I mean?
Oh, I see. So like you finish a quest and you get this guy's like trademark leather jacket, and you can pick if you want it to be black or brown or red.
Or just different styles, and so you can actually
Right.
choose one, and then you still get those positive attributes if it's better than what you're wearing,
Yeah.
but you can choose which one you actually want,
Yeah.
other than
I see what you
getting
mean.
some ugly armor that's amazingly good.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Maybe.
or they could just do the transmog thing you said.
Yeah.
They can name it what I said.
I'm scared to get into a game like 2077. I think
Scared.
Cyberpunk.
Why?
These larger universes are scaring me, and it's not because it's like,
No, we got an upcoming story on that.
well, like the reason why it's scaring me is that
Stick around.
I play a lot of like, let's say like Fallout and stuff, and so like the universes that I am invested in.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I have over 300 hours in Fallout 76. So it's like I don't want to give up my time with 76, but I also don't want to only give Cyberpunk an hour. You know what I mean? And I'm not
Yeah.
going to game for 16 hours a day.
You didn't
Like-
make it through with The Witcher 3 either, and that was a big game. And it sounds like 2077 is going to be bigger than that.
That's the thing, and because I was thinking to myself back then when I gave up on The Witcher 3, I thought, oh, it's probably because of I just don't want to invest that much time. But it isn't that. It's the fact that I don't want to invest in so many universes.
Yeah. No, that's exactly why I haven't booted up Witcher 3 yet. I've had that game for 4 years, never installed it because I'm just like, I can't devote to this right now. And I'm not familiar with the universe. I won't understand things.
Get it on the Switch now. You can watch it in blurry.
Yeah. The Switcher,
not that
the
bad. It's
Switcher
on now.
3.
It's not that bad, but it's pretty bad when you compare it to the actual game.
Of course, but
Yeah.
it's the Switch.
But I mean, you'd pull it out and you play little chunks, and you'll finish it in like about 10 years.
Yeah, great.
No, but see, that's just it though. Is like people always say like I don't have the time to do this or whatever, but then they'll play Call of Duty every night. It's not the fact that they don't have time to do it. It's because they just don't want to dedicate that hour a night that they play Call of Duty
I-
to.
Well, that's the same thing. Is they know that they're going to spend that time playing Call of Duty, which doesn't leave them time to play it.
No, but they usually get like people like that usually get the excuse of like, oh, I don't game, but I play Call of Duty every night, and I'm 10th prestige.
I attribute that though to a phenomenon I have with when reading books. I think I've said this on the podcast before of how I will read more smaller chapters than I will a big chapter.
Yeah,
So let's say there's
I was the same way too.
let's say there's 3 chapters and it's like 60 pages. I might read those 3 chapters, but if I see one chapter that's 50 pages, I won't read it.
Yep. When I was younger, I used to only because I hated putting down a book halfway through a chapter.
Right.
I would only ever read to the end of a chapter. So if I was like reading for a little while and then I got to the next chapter, I would skip ahead the pages to see how long this chapter was. And if it was longer than what I was willing to like read at that point, I'd put the whole book down.
Yeah.
And then I'd go back to it later
And so I'm feeling like The Witcher is the same thing, where it's like you have to invest hours into one play sitting,
to make any progress.
but I can just play 5 rounds of Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And it just feels more.
Like you're making more efficient use of your time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I 100%.
I think it's all just like a mental thing.
Yeah, it probably is. That's
Mhm.
very true.
because you want that sense of satisfaction having done something, right?
Yeah.
You invest so much time. That's like when I get frustrated when I've like spent 45 minutes trying to do a hunt in Monster Hunter and then I fail it. I was like, well, that was a waste of 45 minutes.
Mhm.
And in reality, it's not, right? Because I was playing the game, I was enjoying
having
my
fun,
time
yeah.
playing it, and now I like know how to fight that monster
I was
better.
listening to a podcast
But
about
I
this.
didn't get anything for it, so I felt like it was a waste of time. Like I didn't get any like material components for it.
I was listening to a podcast about this, and they were talking about that weird thing where, let's say someone's watching a 2-hour movie, right? And they have fun, they're laughing, they're enjoying it, the action scenes are great, and then something happens at the end they don't like, and they say the whole movie was bad.
Yeah.
And it's like, but you got enjoyment out of it.
Yeah.
Which is, it's a strange thing that it's like only the last thing, the last memory of that thing is what matters to people.
Yeah.
And it's not the journey, it's the destination.
For certain things, yeah.
Yeah. When it should be kind of the reverse.
I feel like with video games that doesn't happen though, because I feel like people hated the end of Fable 2, for example,
Oh, yeah.
because it was really bad. It was really stupid.
I don't even remember the
But
end.
that game is fantastic, and everyone that I talked to loves Fable 2 that played.
I
it.
legitimately don't remember the end, but I remember
Lucian's
most
at the top of the
journey.
tower, and Reaver comes up and he shoots him if Lucian talks for too long.
Spoilers.
You can do it. You can kill Lucian, or Reaver will come up and go bang and shoot him, and he goes and he falls off the tower, and he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want to do that?" So everyone was like, "What the fuck? I just got blue balled at the end of this like 100-hour long game."
But I remember the whole game. Maybe not the whole game, but the prison. I remember the introduction at like the gypsy camp.
Yep.
The like
Yep.
weird dungeon in the middle of the lake. Like I remember
Yep.
almost that whole game.
Yep.
Becoming a master blacksmith while waiting for Teresa.
Literally every time. It's the best
Yeah.
way to make money. Actually, the
Hilarious.
best minigame to make money is the bartending, but
Oh yeah.
yeah, you don't get that until like halfway through the game.
Matt, what are you doing?
So we just picked up Red Dead. Actually, it was on sale because I think we're kind of done with ESO for a bit. None of us seemed too enthused when we played it because we usually try to play a game with Aaron here and there. So
Well,
like,
for some reason, we only played on weekends.
well, I think it was
No one ever shot up the flare for weekdays of
well,
ESO.
that's exactly what I was about to say. Is I think it was because it was an MMO and we felt obligated to put a session in.
Yeah.
And so now it's like, if we can run around and hunt in Red Dead for an hour or something, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
And
I know
so,
I know what game you guys can play.
what's that?
Monster Hunter World Iceborne.
I mean, we could, but
I think I'm done with that game. I'm sorry.
Really?
It's not for
you
me.
didn't even beat it.
No,
You didn't beat it.
I think
You got to the end of the low rank story, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. You redirected the giant volcano guy.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we've been doing a little bit of Red Dead, and then we've been continuing to go hitting that Appalachian Trail. That's sort of like our Call of Duty right now, where we just kind of go back to it here and there. My camp is complete. I think. Like I was tweaking it for a while, but I think it's complete now. And so I'm just trying to get better weapons at this point, better weapons and armor. And I have finally one of those weapons that actually just wrecks.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm finally at the point where I have one that is like a general purpose, one that wrecks pretty good, and then one that absolutely wrecks.
That was pretty nuts. That Deathclaw went down pretty easily.
Yeah, just look at it. Oh, its head gone.
Yeah.
Right, there it goes.
Pretty sad, actually.
No, it's pretty good. It's pretty damn good. After all that grinding,
About 300 hours to reach that point. Is it that good?
it's pretty damn good. Yeah. Because the thing is like I got a platinum well before that too.
Sure, yeah.
So
I remember when you said you'd stop playing once you hit that platinum.
yeah,
Still going.
and then just kept going. Yeah.
You said you were going to move on
Well,
to Kingdom Come.
Marty and
I know.
Laura got into it, and so we started playing with them.
Yeah, we made a
You
mega.
gotta
camp.
play Kingdom Come, man. It's so good. It's so freaking good.
I think that's gonna be now. I think that's gonna be my single player. Although I'm also trying to get through Gears here and there, so we'll see. But I just beat Gears 2, and I think we're gonna leave Gears for
Resonating.
the stream maybe, and I'll
Oh,
like
yeah?
work through it on
I
there.
mean, Gears is fun.
Yeah.
I always like Gears. I always play through those games.
So because I never played them.
Yeah.
So like, cause you and I did the Ultimate Edition for a bit,
yeah.
and then I just did the second one. I finished that, and so we're a bit into the third. But I think I'll leave that probably for the stream. So I think when I go to play like a single player game, whenever I'll
Yeah.
just play Kingdom Come. I think
So good.
because I am pretty like far in it, like not far in terms of complete like percentage, but I am like hours in. I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah,
like
yeah.
not 10 minutes in.
You can easily put 10 hours in that game without doing anything. Like,
Yes.
It's just one of those games.
I bought it and I played it, and then I had to go collect money from some guy, and he kicked my ass, and I deleted it.
That's literally the very, very beginning of the
Yeah.
game. That's like before your town even burns down.
He had to collect
What?
money
What?
from some guy. Yeah, that's right. That is right.
Peshek.
Man, you know what I did to that guy? I beat him up.
Yeah.
Or no, he beat me up, kicked
Yeah,
my ass.
yeah.
But he was hurt,
Yeah.
like because we had fought.
Yeah.
So I go up behind him, and I literally just kept doing the power punch. So I just kept conking him in the back of the head. He falls to the ground. I steal all of his possessions, including his clothes. I break into his house. I steal all of his possessions. I leave, and as I'm leaving, he's walking around like being really grumpy, completely naked, stark
Yep.
naked, walking back to his house. And I
Yep.
was like, well, fuck
Well,
you,
that's like
bud.
what I told you too. Like when the first time I went to Rate and I knocked out a guard and like took his stuff, and then like I left and kept going around doing like story stuff and quests, and I came back and that guard's just standing there on like patrol, just wearing like plain clothes. And he has like a sword and a shield and like a chain coif, and then just his regular clothes. He's just standing there on guard. And I'm just like, you couldn't have gone and gotten more equipment. You're just
Yeah,
you're just
really,
gonna
fuck.
rock the shorts all day.
I did that to
You're at
the.
work.
I took the. I remember I was trying to like learn how to be stealthy, so I was following different people in the town, and I followed the stable boy was going into like this closed building. So I was like, oh, what I'm gonna do is, he's gonna go shovel hay or whatever he does. Then he
Yeah.
comes back to this closed building, so I'm gonna hide in the building, wait for him to come through, just to like test the stealth mechanic. So I went and I did that, and he ended up having like $300 on him.
Yeah.
So I just stole all of his money.
Yep. He may have been like a quest NPC that you're supposed to pickpocket from or something.
Oh, maybe.
I think that might have been what it is.
Well, it's
So
mine
I've done
now.
that before. I found like a really expensive sword. Like at the very beginning of the game, I pickpocketed like a $2,000 sword out of
Holy
some
crap.
random guy's pocket because it was part of a quest later on. And I just used that sword for a long time.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
I finished Gears 4. Speaking of Gears,
There you go.
It's a
And,
decent story. I don't know. I played a decent amount of Gears.
and I have Gears 5 downloaded on my PC, courtesy of Game Pass Ultimate.
Yep. Featuring the one and only Laura Bailey as Kate Diaz.
Correct.
She's a big fan of Gears. Makes sense,
I would hope so.
given that she's the main
Yeah.
actor in the game.
Yeah. That's about all I did, I think.
Well, you've been downloading Red Dead for like 3 days.
Yeah. So that's
I purchased and downloaded it in 50 minutes and started playing.
I thought you already had that game.
I have it on. I got it as a gift. My uncle bought it for me for Christmas.
Oh, it was on Xbox, right?
On Xbox,
That's
yeah.
right.
And then it was-
because I
was,
I remember when it was coming out, I was like, "Do you want to get it on PlayStation so we can play together?"
Yeah.
But you got it on Xbox, so you didn't buy it. That's right.
Well, and then this time I only paid $20 for it, $20 or $30, because I had some credit and it was 50% off. It was a sale, so
There you go.
which is nuts because
join our posse if you'd
You
like.
should have just bought it used. I could have gotten you it probably
Oh.
cheaper used.
I could have did that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I might as well use my credit too. So
Anyway,
well, I got the Ultimate Edition also actually because
Oh,
I
yeah.
wanted to do the extra missions and stuff.
it's basically it was on sale that cheap though, because like GTA 5 like barely went on sale, and when it did go on sale, it'd be like 10% off.
I think it's because they
It's
realized.
now-
maybe digitally, but it always goes on sale in store for like $20.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say I think it's probably because they realized when they did those rare sales that they were getting more people into the online ecosystem.
No, but the game was selling. It has been one of the top selling games every month.
It still
like,
is.
since launch.
Yep.
And so there was no need to lower the price.
No, yeah,
And
that's
so
true.
it took this long, which has been like years now, for it to come down to like below $30.
Yep.
Dig-
It's,
Yeah.
digitally, yeah.
The premium edition is $29.99, which is the one that gives you obviously like the base game and then 1.5 million to spend online or something like that.
Does it give you the Criminal Enterprise Starter
I
Pack?
think so.
That's pretty. That's worth quite a bit. That's pretty
Yeah.
good.
Now it's the one that sometimes goes on sale for $20.
All right, let's hop into the stories for this week. Borderlands 3 came out while we were recording. Happy Friday the 13th, by the way.
Woo!
And I guess we're getting reports of performance issues on all platforms, but in particular, I was seeing performance issues on PC, and there's something hinky going on with the review copies apparently too. Now, this is all unverified. This is just what's going on the Reddits here.
Yeah, there's a big thread on the games subreddit about Borderlands 3 that, as I speak, has 1,600 upvotes, 440 comments.
Holy
posted
Christ.
by Bugalug, who was basically talking about the PS4 Pro version, because on the PS4 Pro, when the game first boots up, a la other games that are optimized for the Pro, like Monster Hunter World, you can choose what graphics mode you want the game to be in. So you can do like performance mode or resolution mode, and then obviously each one will prioritize one or the other. Basically, what people are saying is that you have to play it in performance mode, because resolution mode, the game runs like less than 30 FPS and it's super choppy. And this has been confirmed, air quotes, for Xbox One X and PC.
What's weird about the review thing that they're saying though is that apparently the reviewers got a different build of the game, and they told them to use DirectX 11 and to not worry about DirectX 12. But people are reporting the issue when using DirectX 12.
And what do the consoles use?
Not that, I don't think.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't think they use DirectX, as far as I know.
So it's all very weird, and I guess that would explain why the reviews were so high.
Yeah, because
They're getting 8s and 9s.
8s and 9s and 9.5s.
So
Yeah.
it's all very weird. Now, I never thought that Borderlands was that well running of a game.
People were insanely hyped when that first trailer dropped on Twitter months ago. Like when there was that first, even just the teaser picture that was just a dusty road with a billboard on the side that said like soon. And it was in the Borderlands font.
Do you remember though if the old Borderlands on like PS3 and stuff, were they 30 frames?
I don't know whether they were 30 or 60, but I do know that they were consistent.
30.
I don't remember any
Yeah.
slowdowns, with the exception of if loot was exploding from something.
Yeah, on 3
But
there was
don't-
slowdown. I remember that you would kill like Cromarax or whatever, and then all the guns were like exploding out. And
Yeah.
it would slow down for a bit, and then
Yeah.
it would.
But I
hit
don't
30 again.
ever
But
remember.
the actual gameplay was
I don't
fine.
ever
Yeah.
remember saying though that like, oh, this game's running smooth. It always kind of felt a little choppy to me.
But not like
And
this.
it might have been more the art style than the actual.
No, I think you're right. It would probably go between 24 and 30, at least on 360 anyways, what I played it on. Because I remember when I bought that game on PC, I was like,
Wow.
God damn, this game is great on PC.
You bought it on Vita too, didn't you?
I actually bought the Vita bundle.
Yeah.
Borderlands
How's that?
2 Vita bundle. That is absolutely the worst version of a great game. That's what I always told
Oh
people.
my god! Is it
is-
actually the full Borderlands 2?
It's the full game with all the content. It has the
Holy
Necromancer.
crap.
It has Krieg. It has all the.
It doesn't have that new DLC though.
vehicle packs and skin packs. That's a good question. I wonder if
Probably
was it
not.
Fight for Sanctuary. Commander
Probably
Lilith?
not.
It's probably not on there. No, it's garbage. It's really bad. It's not garbage. It's just like, why would you play this on a platform that doesn't support good shooter controls?
So I'm wondering. Hopefully by the
Fair
time.
question.
Hopefully by the time I actually pick this game up, these kind of issues will be solved if they can. That'd be nice. I ran into an issue with Control. I beat the game before the performance patches.
You were
came
saying
out.
this, yeah.
And so it's like, well, that kind of sucks. I do want to pick it up for PC at some point though, because it apparently is gorgeous
Like
on
phenomenal?
PC.
Yeah.
And I saw some footage of just like the reflection in a glass
Yeah.
wall, and it was just like, holy crap.
I gotta say, after having played it on the stream like 2 weeks ago or whatever that was,
Mhm.
which you should totally check out, twitch.tv/DamonPatchMedia. I had no interest in that game at all. Like I knew nothing about it. I was like, oh, whatever. It's gonna be a generic like story-driven third-person shooter, blah, 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 whatever. That game is hilariously fun. Like they could just do so much, just crap in that game, and just mess around. I love it.
You blew up everything.
Everything.
You were shooting and things
And there
were
was like a
exploding.
difference between the attacks and stuff. It was
Yeah.
like you could shoot at a pillar, like a concrete pillar, and eventually the pieces would like fall away. But then if you used your like force push, it would blow that concrete pillar out, and it was like, okay, this feels powerful.
Yeah.
Because this handgun is strong, and it chips away at this thing. But then you can just go, poof, and the whole thing explodes out. It was like the Matrix. It was crazy.
Speaking of which, they announced their game plan for like the future DLC content. The third or the second expansion has like a logo, and on the top part of the logo you can see Alan Wake.
So they're planning it's all in the same universe, right?
Well, in the game, I guess it's spoilers. So
Yeah.
if you don't want to, if you haven't finished Control yet, you guys, do you care about the spoilers?
I already know this. I already know this
okay.
thing. So
I never do, but for the audience. Please avoid spoilers.
But anyway, as you're exploring the oldest house, you come across some files in one of the areas, I forget which exactly, and they talk about the incident in which the Alan Wake games take place.
Okay.
So the Federal Bureau of Control investigated that issue.
The Alan Wake
incident.
incident.
And so it almost sounds like in this expansion, we're going to be going and investigating more stuff.
You're going to follow up after, and
Yeah.
you're going to see through environmental storytelling the things that happened during the events of Alan Wake.
Yeah,
That's kind of cool.
that's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because it just says, like, does that mean that she was the director at the time of the Alan Wake events, or was it the previous guy?
I don't know what the timeline is.
So that'd be cool to see. Because I never played through Alan Wake. I heard that it was good.
I
And
definitely
then other people are
played
talking about Quantum Break as well,
Yeah.
which
Well,
is maybe different timeline.
it could be in the same
Hard to
one,
say.
really. Because Control opens it up so that, like, any weird thing that happens in the world could be in the Control universe. You know what I mean? So, all right, moving on. So, do you guys like Anthem?
I never played it.
I have a copy of the Legion of Dawn edition for free, and I still haven't played it.
Oh my god.
Well,
this game, no good.
Good news for EA Access subscribers.
Oh yeah.
You're getting Anthem now.
You're getting dumped on.
The Anthem's being dumped on you, according to Polygon again. This is Polygon.
Polygon.
Anthem Electronic Arts' beleaguered open-world action RPG is now available to EA Access and Origin Access subscribers just 7 months after a thudding launch. Jeez.
What are these adjectives?
The version available through EA Access and Origin Access' vault of titles is the standard edition, although those who subscribe to the PC-only Origin Access Premier tier,
PC
Jesus
Master
Christ,
Race.
EA, of service will get the Legion of Dawn edition. That's what you got.
Hey, that's me.
Which delivers extra armor for each class of Javelin.
Stuff we all need.
The game is now available in access on all 3 platforms: PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Windows PC. Here's what is the normal time for games to show up on EA Access? Is it a year?
It is generally a rule of thumb as approximately 1 year. However, it can be 6 months or less.
I was gonna say with the sports games, isn't it like 4 months?
Sports games are different, I think, because of the ultimate teams, like NHL Ultimate Team or whatever the fuck they call it.
Yeah.
All that stuff. It's once you get in the ecosystem, then you're buying card packs and
Yeah.
crap. So,
Got to get that hut and mutt and fut. going
but
on.
like things like Battlefield, you can expect it 6 months to a year, and then this you can expect it whenever. I don't know, maybe 6 months. I guess this was approximately
7 months.
7
oh,
months.
now you got me thinking about how good Battlefield would be on my new computer.
Which one?
Any of them?
Did you get any free games? Because I got like 4 free games with my PC.
No,
Really?
that's okay. I don't need free games. I have so many games.
But speaking of Anthem, I got Anthem for free on my
Yeah.
my PC.
Through what though? Because like
The the graphics card came with 3 games. I got Battlefield 1.
oh yeah,
Or no, sorry, Battlefield 5.
it makes a lot of sense actually. Because it's like, all right, you built this sweet PC. Now what do you do with it? Like, go buy a game. It's like,
Yeah.
let's give you something. That makes sense. I should look into that because I have the box for my graphics card and maybe there's still something in there with it.
And then my processor came with Division 2.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've not played any of those games
Right,
on my PC.
right.
Because I heard he played Battlefield 5 on PS4. Anthem, I booted up and played a bit, but it's a bad game.
Well, see, that's funny because like I know that it had a really bad launch, but the guy that I work with, one of the guys, he loves it. He's a big fan of like space games and like aerial games and things like that. Like he loves like Ace Combat, and he loves anything to do with spaceships and stuff like that, where you control spaceships and fly through space and explore and stuff. And he said it was just a ton of fun flying around in the Javelin, just like flying through the world. And it's like the floating islands, like an Avatar and stuff like that. And then you can just like do a straight dive down into the water, and it's like, and then you're like jetting along underneath the water, and you can go back up because your jets overheat when you're flying for too long. But if you fly through a waterfall, then the like water like liquid cools you and stuff, and you can keep flying.
Yep.
And he just loved the stuff like that. And I was like, that's pretty cool.
They nailed that. Yeah, there's definitely good aspects to the game, but
Yeah.
just the core game is not. And there's several games coming out that look just like Destiny, and that was one of them. You're in these faceless mechs with no eyes, and it's like, how do you see through that?
Well, it's got cameras on the front.
I know what they're going for, but it all looks the same when you're all in these same big armored things.
Yeah.
and
You got your Hulkbuster. You got your Iron Man.
yeah.
You got your.
So it all started looking the same to me, and so I kind of I had tepid feelings about it going in when I first heard it launch, and I'm a big BioWare fan.
I wonder if people are just fatigued on mechs. I think people
Yeah.
just have mech fatigue.
Because when has a Mech Warrior been a big Mecha Warrior, Mecha Assault?
Well, I just
those
mean
older
like
games.
think about in the past 5 years, how many AAA games have had a suit or mechs of
No,
some kind?
really, yeah. What's that? The last one I can even think of. I think there's been a Mech Warrior since, but like the last one I can think of off the top is like that one that came out in the launch window of the 360, Iron Chrome or something, or Iron something, and it was like a constant war
Oh,
online, and I think there was
yeah.
a single player component as well.
Can't remember what that's
But like
called,
that
yeah.
was like really the last, and I
Chrome
didn't even care
Hounds?
then. Chrome Hounds, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like really, like who cares about mechs?
Well, it's like zombies, right? People were just so overblown with zombies in pop culture. It's this. I think there's been like a minor pop culture section that people just bored of mechs now.
Yeah, because I think it's because
Because Iron Man's been pervasive for the past 10 years through Marvel and stuff in the movies.
it's just a big metal suit. It's not innovative.
Yeah.
It's literally just modern armor, like in medieval times. Just
the,
modern.
The designs just started to blend in.
That too, yeah.
Call of Duty Advanced Warfare had the exosuits.
Advanced Warfare, yeah.
And
Yeah, that's right.
that was within the last 5 years, right? So
Yeah, that was second year of the PS4, I think.
2015.
All right. Matt's favorite game, KFC.
What
Colonel Sanders dating sim.
Double down.
most ridiculous thing I've ever seen on Instagram?
This is from Polygon here. KFC is working on a video game with developers PsyOp. The fried chicken connoisseurs are releasing a dating simulator. I Love You, Colonel Sanders. A finger-licking good dating simulator.
Oh, what the fuck?
The game popped up on Steam
Chew!
as coming soon, according to the listing. A KFC representative told Polygon the game will be available for free on Steam on September 24th. So
That's amazing.
mark your calendars, kids.
I'm downloading that.
Yeah, I'm
for
down with
sure.
it too, yeah.
From the same people who brought you the bucket of chicken comes the world's first Colonel Sanders dating simulator.
Man, I got to set myself to invisible when I boot that one up.
You know what's funny is I saw that article a couple of days ago while I was at work, and then the security guy was there too, and I showed it to him, and he was like, "This looks like a guy I know." Like the picture of Colonel Sanders in like anime form, and he like pulled the guy up on Facebook, and short of like the facial hair exactly, it looked like him.
That's
the guy was
amazing.
like
That's
straight out of an
hilarious.
anime. I was like, "What the hell is this?"
I Love You, Colonel Sanders, a finger-licking good dating simulator, will put players in control of a promising culinary student who's studying alongside a young Colonel Sanders. While looking for love, but you've got to make it through culinary school, too. If you're lucky, Colonel Sanders might even take you on as a business partner.
Ooh.
Of the 9 characters, there's also a dog, who is also a professor at culinary school, naturally. KFC says there are multiple hours of gameplay, a secret ending, and recipes. There are also cooking battles, 11 herbs and spices, and plenty of cute miniature food.
What in the hell is going on?
This is the
This is
weirdest
hilarious.
timeline.
The listing also reminds potential players a few times that, yes, KFC did really make this game.
You know what's hilarious is this is obviously a huge like PR stunt, right?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
marketing for
Yep.
the generation, and that's fine, right?
Like
Because it's
cost them
hilarious.
$10 to make it.
And it's also free, so
It's
who
hilarious.
cares?
It's free. Who gives a shit? There will be at no point when I'm playing this game that I'm gonna go, oh, I'm gonna go for some KFC.
You know, yeah.
There will be no point
Until
because
they
I
give
really
you a
do
coupon
not
in
like.
the game.
I really do not like KFC.
Oh,
Yeah, the
Jesus.
secret
Oh,
ending
it's
is a
so,
coupon.
It's so greasy.
Yeah.
It's got to be. There has to be something in that game where it's like, say this word at in store and
You
they'll
get,
give
like,
you
a secret
free
menu
bucket of
item?
chicken. Yeah.
If you
exactly.
successfully bed Colonel Sanders,
Oh,
you get a free
Whoa.
bucket of chicken.
I mean,
Matt's in.
I'm in, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm getting my fingers knuckle deep into this one.
A lot of these fast food restaurants are really upping their social strategies. You got Wendy's
between
being,
Wendy's and Arby's. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's
crazy.
They're getting really good, and I think this is just part of it.
Well, see, the thing is that the people in our generation are now old enough to be the heads of like marketing departments for these companies. Like, obviously, we're seeing a lot more memes being used in
Yeah.
marketing because they're targeting the demographic, right?
Yeah.
Us and younger.
Yeah.
Which memes are basically they have their own economy. They're a currency. They're a
Right.
social currency.
All right.
So there's whole like the one subreddit that I follow is r/fellow kids is just basically making fun of them doing it really poorly
Mhm.
because it used to be that it was like older generation people like boomers trying to make advertising that was for like hip and for the kids and doing it really badly. So it was like the clip from SNL where Steve Buscemi like
I was
kind
just thinking about that one.
the,
Yeah.
with the hat backwards hat and the
Yeah.
skateboard over his shoulder, and he's like, "How do you do, fellow kids?"
Yeah.
Damn it.
So that's what it's from.
God
fellow
damn
kids.
it.
But now it's just about recognizing the good stuff too, because now companies are hiring people that actually know how to make these memes and like what's relevant and shit like that. And a lot of them even go a step beyond and reference how bad they are at it to make meta commentary on their memes, which just gets further positive traction, right?
So keep an eye out. September 24th on the Steam there. And remember, KFC did make this game.
I'm marking it on my calendar right now.
I love the 11 herbs and spices.
Did you
I'm
know?
so happy that's in the game.
Here's a fun fact that you probably already know. The KFC Twitter account follows 11 pages. 5 guys named Herb. Or sorry, 6
Oh.
guys named Herb and the 5 Spice Girls.
Fuck off. That's actually hilarious.
11 herbs and spices.
My favorite is there's that parody account, the God Twitter account,
Yeah.
and the only person he follows is Justin Bieber.
That's great. Of all people. Just a little kid from Stratford.
All right, final
I
story.
forgot about that.
This one was bad news for Adriano, apparently. Ubisoft will not return to creating shorter games, says their
Oof.
CEO. This comes to
No.
us from the IGN. So basically, Ubisoft will continue to focus on huge open-world games that take many hours to play, but has the goal to provide smaller-scale adventures within larger worlds. Talking to GameIndustry.biz, Yves Guillemot said no to the question if the company would ever return to games of the scale of Assassin's Creed Unity, which I thought was a big game.
I was about to say, didn't everyone think that? Wait. Unity?
Usually, Assassin's Creeds in general are big games.
I'm not talking about Unity.
Relatively,
I said I'm not talking about Unity. I'll
you
tell
don't
you
have
that
to.
much.
I'll talk about it.
Not if you just do the main story. They're pretty short if you just do that.
Well, this is what they're saying, in which the main story can be easily finished in around 15 hours. That's a very brief trip compared to Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which on average takes up to 60 hours of people's time.
Yeah, I remember people complaining
Jesus Christ.
when Origins came out that you couldn't. Maybe it was Odyssey. I can't remember. You could not just do the main story missions because story missions would come up that you were not a high enough level for.
Yeah.
You had to go do side missions.
That's what
so-
Odyssey was too,
yeah.
Mhm.
It was either Origins or Odyssey, but yeah, it made it take longer for no reason.
Odyssey.
Yeah, you love it, eh?
I was playing it last night, and I was like, man, this game's good. Just looking around the world is fantastic. What a beautiful world they built.
Even Black Flag looked really good. I did absolutely everything in that game. I was
Mm.
at every island. I found every treasure chest, everything.
Did you beat those like legendary ships?
Yeah, I have.
Those were tough, man.
I did almost everything in that game. The only thing I didn't get, like achievement, like trophies wise, was just the online stuff.
Our goal is to make sure you can have a Unity within an Odyssey, said Guillemot. If you want to have a story of 15 hours, you can have it, but you can also have other stories. You live in that world, and you pursue what you want to pursue. You have an experience many Unity-like experiences. You have an experience many Unity-like experiences. Now, sometimes there's trouble if you're like a completionist too. You can't just put aside those side quests. You have to do them.
The thing is, though, is there this goes back to the problem where like Adriano and you like check marks on your list. But I always said that like I don't mind having too much hobby to have like to do. Like if I fall behind, it's like then I'm just not gonna be bored. Like imagine if you beat games so quickly where they were all like 5 hours or something, and so you just like rip through them, and so there was a slow year, you catch up, now you have nothing to play. There's always something I could jump into The Witcher if I really wanted to.
I have a problem with. I want to play the game when it's still in the zeitgeist. So I feel the need to finish an older game before I start a new game. I don't like juggling multiple games at the same time.
Right.
So if I'm playing a 60-hour Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and let's say a new game comes out that I really want to play, I don't want to jump to that new game. But now I have 60 more hours left in Odyssey. So what's the solution?
You just can't do both.
You just
Yeah.
like there comes a point where you could request that I want to have 60 hours in a day. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But like that ain't gonna happen. It's just one of those things where I think that people like the completionist thing that people get upset about, but it's like, well, if you're a completionist and you don't want to play the game for 60 hours, then you can't play a 60-hour game. Like, I don't understand it, because some people will play like a Gears of War and they like love Gears of War, but the Gears of War campaign is going to be 15 hours or something. It's not going to be 30, 40, 50 hours. So then that's it. Like, what are they going to say? I don't get it. I don't get the check mark thing personally. Like, I understand things that are really stupid, like if they're stupidly grindy or something like that, where they're just holding you back. Like if it was like, well, the story, like the level thing you were talking about in Origins or Odyssey or whatever. Like if it was like, well, grind for 30 hours to get to the next story mission, that's just needlessly long. Like that's just stupid.
That's called World of Warcraft Classic.
I mean, there you go. But the thing is like I don't understand this mentality of like I have to complete this. Like who cares?
I think it's just human nature.
It might be, but also it's
like tidying up your desk. It's completed. You can file it away. It's all nice and neat, and you're just like, okay.
But this is actually probably hitting on. But
it's a personality thing too.
Well,
it's not something that me and Adrian can turn off. You know what I mean?
No, but isn't this conflicting with the idea of live games? Like we just had a discussion about how we're so invested in certain worlds like Fallout and whatever that we can't invest in other worlds. And we had this discussion years ago, and it's come up repeatedly since that. We can't, like, when games are live, constantly updating, whatever, it's impossible to invest time in all of them and do all this stuff. So when that NPC update comes out to Fallout 76, Red Dead, for example, will go down a bit. Gears of War will go down a bit. And so I'll, like, adjust and do some quests. Then when I'm bored of the quest or done the quest, then I'll come back to those other ones.
Yeah.
But but the limit is what we were discussing is, like, what happens when the audience across all games is spread too thin. I think that's starting to happen because people are playing Fallout 76 for years. Like it hasn't even been out for a year, but like allegedly it's going to be supported for years. GTA, they've been playing it for years. Red Dead Online will be played for years. So it's like some people Nate still plays GTA.
I played Gears of War 3 for like 4 years.
See, there you go.
I just kept playing it.
Wow.
I just kept doing the online over and over and over and over and over. It just depends on what you're doing at certain points of your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I used to, every time a game came out that I wanted to play, had any interest in at all, I would always buy it, like right away. I would always buy it, even if I was playing 2 other things at the same time, because as I've said multiple times when I've been on this podcast before, I'm always playing like 5 games at the same time. Always. Because it's just like every time I have a spare moment, I'm just like, oh, I feel like doing this right now, and I do it. But what kept happening was that I would like throw games onto my like wanted library on Steam, and then it would go on sale, and I'd be like, oh, it's on sale, it's a good price, and then I'll buy it, and I'd be like, sweet, now I've got it for when I want to play it, and then I just literally never played it, and I kept doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it, and now I have over 130 games in my Steam library, and I've maybe beaten 20 of them.
Yeah.
Because I have so many games that I was like, oh, you know, that's a good price, or oh, I wanted to play that, or I played this once at a friend's house, now I want to play through it. But I was playing 3 other things at the same time, and I kept playing them, and then would get bored of one and swap this one out for this game, and then play this game with these other 2, and then those are done, so I'd grab 2 other games, and I would totally forget about the one that I bought. So now I only buy games if I intend on playing it right then and there, right then.
Which is probably going to save you money even in the long run too.
And
so you're not buying a launch day prices all the time.
So much more money than I used to. I used to be running on empty, and now I'm in a position where I have to pay rent, I have to pay insurance, I have to pay gas for my car, I have to pay, student fees. I have a lot more costs in my life right now than I have ever had, and I'm still in the black because I'm not buying hundreds of dollars of games every month, which I used to do, and it was a problem. And, now, like, the only time that I'll ever pretty much buy a game on release, like, at full price, is if it's something that I've, like, been waiting for, and I am too excited about it to want to wait.
Which makes sense, like...
So, like, for example, like, Link's Awakening is coming out on the Switch on the 20th, and Link's Awakening is, like, my second favorite game of all time. So, I'm obviously going to play that, like, right away.
I didn't know you were that big a fan of Link's Awakening.
Yeah.
Link's Awakening is my favorite Zelda, that's for damn sure.
Love that game. So good. It's my second favorite Zelda game, but it's also like my second favorite game of all time.
Oh wow!
I guess that lowers it then.
What's your first game?
When I sit and think about it, I think my favorite game of all time is probably Mario Sunshine.
Oh wow!
I think it's just so good. Like I can always just sit and play that.
I thought you were
game.
gonna say WoW Classic or just like WoW back then.
When I was younger, yeah, Warcraft 3 would definitely be like the number one. I'm sure I could pull up that list that I made on Facebook like a year ago of like my top 10 games when I sat and thought about it for a while, or like the most impactful games. So that's things like Oblivion, World of Warcraft, Dark Souls 1, like things like that. But if I had like a top 5, yeah, it's like Majora's Mask, Link's Awakening, Mario Sunshine, Dark Souls, and probably Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. Yeah, I think those are my top 5. All Japanese games when I think about it. But yeah, like you reach a point where there's, as you get older, right, you start to realize when people say there's not enough hours in a day. And it's like because there's work and there's rest time and there's obligations and responsibilities. And then like you can only fill your rest time with so much.
And there's so much entertainment to consume now. Yeah. It's like it feels it's like a heavy weight on you.
I put so much time into like interactive entertainment that I don't have time for other forms of entertainment like Netflix or, you know, like listening to things on Spotify or whatever. Like there's all this content out there that people nowadays, especially like the kids that are younger than us, are so inundated with their whole lives ever since
they're constantly having something
always
presented
with screens
to them
in front of their faces. And like that's what our parents said about us, right? But like
they're used to it.
Yeah, it's what it's all they've ever known.
Yeah.
And that's the norm. And you know, it's funny because it makes you feel like the previous generation when you go, man, these kids they're doing it too much. It's going to affect them. But that's what our parents said about us. And like, we're still able to do things. We're still able to function as a society. It's just that society has changed. It's like people who are like anti-cell phone. It's like, it's not so much that people are addicted to their cell phones as much as it is that cell phones are just the way we do everything now. Like we do business, we do socializing, we do planning.
That's one thing I don't like is like if you see someone on a bus with a newspaper, you're like, oh, he's reading the news. I'm reading the news on my phone, but they immediately think I'm either on social media or playing a game
or texting. You're texting.
They were trying to avoid social confrontation, but it's like there's that picture that's always like shared around by like boomers or whatever. It's like people back in my day, and it's like people sitting around like a coffee table talking. And it's like kids these days, and it's people sitting at like a bus stop or whatever, and every single person is on their phone. It's like, but then somebody took that picture and took that one. It's like kids. Like this is my generation. This is the previous generation, and it's again like Grand Central Station or Times Square or whatever in the 50s, and it's everybody there has their nose in a newspaper.
Right. Yeah.
Things don't change. It's just the technology that changes.
The thing is, humans don't like being bored, and so they fill it with whatever they can not to feel bored. There was a article in a paper from a long time ago when magazines first came out, and they were like, "These magazines are going to destroy the American family."
Yep.
People sit at home and they don't talk. They're reading their magazines.
Yeah. So, well, it goes back as far as like Socrates. Like he proposed like a written language. Like this was when Socrates, or not Socrates, it was an Egyptian diplomat that went to the king of Egypt at the time proposing books. He was like, we need to record information on papyrus so that we have this for long periods of time. We don't need to rely on spoken word anymore. We can record our memories and our information on these pages. And the king was like, basically, he was like, fuck that. If we do that, then people aren't like their memories are going to go. We're not going to be able to remember things as well. Books will be the end of civilization. And now we have literally digital everything on the internet. Like,
fun fact, Cleopatra was alive closer to the opening of the first Taco Bell than she was to the building of the first pyramid.
Holy crap.
It's so bizarre to think about, right? Because you think of all that
in ancient Egypt,
time,
the pyramids were already ancient.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Anyway, Matt.
What's up?
Grind or progress? Or progress?
Is this like something that you're going to like, it's like truth or dare?
No,
it's pick which one you do?
Yeah, truth or dare, yeah. No, it's kind of something I thought of when we started playing Red Dead Online. So we started playing Red Dead Online, and they recently introduced the what was that?
Are you looking at the Link thing there?
Yeah, it's a little Link's crossbow training sitting on the shelf over there.
But yeah, so we started playing Red Dead Online, and they introduced like the professions or whatever. There's like the trader, the bounty hunter, and the collector or whatever. And I realized that like you have to pay gold, which is like premium currency, for the bounty hunter. So like you can claim it on Twitch or whatever. But blah blah blah. The point is, I was like, well, that's outrageous. They like they pushed this big update. The trader was free to an extent or something. I can't remember. But it was free for me. I don't know why. Because I'm just getting into this. So it was free for me. So I start with that, and I was like, why can't I just go and do the bounty hunter thing? So I like was looking it up, like how does the bounty hunter work, blah blah blah. And one guy said in the comments, and there's just some random dude in the comments. He said, why would you expect to get it for free when you're expected to grind for it? And he's like, it's not really a grind. He's like, you're supposed to do tasks or the trades or the quests to unlock the ability to be a bounty hunter. He's like, why would you get it right away? And so I was thinking because I was playing single player online at the time. So then Aaron joined, and we were just running around hunting stuff for our trader camp or whatever. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, this doesn't really feel like a grind to me. However, I think it's, I don't know, something like 20 or 18 or 15 or something gold bars to buy the bounty hunter license to start. And I'm at like 1.8 or something. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking, if I was like really doing the math and like watching it and whatever, yeah, it's going to be a grind. It's like I'm like every day I got to do my dailies, whatever. But in reality, I don't feel like this is a grind. Is this not just me trying to expand the experience? And if I were to say, like maybe I want to do the bounty hunter right away, it's one thing to like go on, log in, buy the gold bars, get the license, fine. But like, is it really in some cases, is it really a grind, or is it just progression to like get that stuff immediately? Like where is the line?
Well, I would say since grind has kind of a negative connotation, I usually associate it with not necessarily doing other missions to get my level up, but like in a classic RPG fashion, it's like, oh, I had to go fight a bunch of enemies just to get XP to level up. So I usually think of a grind as being something I don't want to do to get a higher level.
Right.
Where progress is simply playing the game and enjoying myself and leveling up passively.
Well, because here's the thing, right? There's different groups of people that enjoy different things,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You're not going to see the kind of person that likes casual story-based progression type games wanting to sit down and play World of Warcraft for hours, because the point of it is the grind. Mm-hmm. And there are some people who get a lot of satisfaction out of that grind, right? They think it's almost like a bit of the sunken cost fallacy, where it's like they've put so much time into it that it gives it a special kind of value. Like they value it more because of how much they've invested into it, right? And it's like when I've said, making something longer doesn't make it harder. It's just that you now attribute more value to what you've done because you've invested so much into it, whether that's money or time or whatever. It's like if people go on playing League of Legends and stuff, they think that League of Legends is a better game because of how many skins they've bought for their characters, right? Because they've invested so much money into it. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because you're allowed to like what you like, but what you find value in is not intrinsically what's going to be valuable to somebody else.
Right. Well, what are your thoughts, Matt?
I don't know, because I never really thought of it like when I first booted it up. I had that like initial thing where it's like, oh, I gotta get gold for this. Like this is stupid. And then I tried to like claim it on Twitch, and like I'm waiting for that to come in and all this crap. And then I was just thinking to myself, I was like, why am I like spending so much time trying to claim this thing, which I'm still gonna like try to do because it's part of my Twitch Prime. But like, why am I so concerned with it when I could go do missions? I could go do the stranger missions. I could go do like the playlists where like horse races, whatever. I could go do the hunting thing for the trader camp. We could go and just just do random crap out in the world. We could rob people. Like there's so much to do already, and all I'm trying to do is like open up more to do.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, there's an obstacle there. I want to get over it. And just because it's gold, I'm like freaking out. But actually, it might not. Gold, triggers like my anti-microtransaction thing in my head immediately. But even if it was like, let's say it was $10,000 in the game, that's like the regular everyday currency. I don't have 10 grand. I have like $1,000. And so it would be a quote unquote grind to get there. But yet in like a single player game, I would never. Like, for example, in Red Dead, in Red Dead, or in any GTA game even, usually a bunch of the map is locked, and you slowly go through the game. You're slowly, quote unquote, grinding through the story to get more of the map. But I never think of it that way, so I don't know why. I don't know. I can't quite pinpoint where the line is.
That's why I think it's when you have to go out of your way to do something to unlock it. If the other parts of the map just open up as you play the main story mission of the game,
Yeah.
that's progress. That's simply you going through the game. But if they said this place is unlocked and the only way to unlock it is to not play the main story and go off and kill 1,000 deer,
Yeah.
that's grinding to me.
But like, okay, so for example, the trader camp. I'll explain
Yeah.
how it works. So like the trader camp, we have the trader table. You go out, you hunt things, you bring the stuff back, the skins, whatever, and you give it to the guy. And then there's also supplies, like he needs like knives and whatever crap. So you can either like source them or you can buy them straight up. He generates goods and you sell the goods. Basically, you're just running a little business, a little trader business. So to you, would that be a grind?
It's the only way to get that thing, though.
Well, it's
But
literally,
you're supposed to be hunting just for fun anyway, though, right?
this is the thing. So like literally what it is it's like there is like levels. There's like trader levels.
Yeah.
You know, there's like a progression system. But it's like if you want money, you would just do this.
But it's making me hunt to do it, though.
You have to bring animals in. Yes, you have to bring animal goods in.
I would say that, yeah, I consider that grinding.
But yet, what else are you gonna be doing? Like you're playing Red Dead Online. What are you gonna be doing?
Aren't there missions or something?
There's missions,
else?
so you can do missions.
Yeah, that's what I would do. Yeah.
But yet, isn't that a grind? Because now you're fighting for the end. You're like trying to get to the end of the story. So
No, but that's the point
when
of
is
the-
that stopping a grind?
That's the point of the game, though.
Is it?
The core point of the game, yeah.
Technically, it's just to run around, be a cowboy online.
Then I don't like that game.
So it seems to me what you define as like the difference between grind versus progress is variety. If something has variety in the gameplay, that's considered progress because generally as you're playing through the story of a game, there's different gameplay elements that arise, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if you're doing the same thing over and over again, you view that as a grind.
Yes.
So it hinges on variety.
Yeah, maybe.
So I guess what I would ask is like, because you said you didn't really like Monster Hunter all that much, but do you view Monster Hunter as a grind? Because traditionally, if you ask any Monster Hunter player who's played it significantly, they will say, "Oh yeah, it's a grind." But that depends on what your goal is, because that game is a game of make your own goals. Because it's like if you want to make one of every kind of like weapon, like maximum upgraded weapon, you have to hunt a lot of monsters to get those parts.
Yeah.
But there is also
Well, the thing
progression through that game because you're fighting different monsters as you play through it.
I'm not a very technical gamer, even though I like RPGs. So like something like Monster Hunter is like there's a lot you need to remember and know which weapons to use and what animal, is weak against something.
It's a
So
management
there's
game.
a lot of thinking you need to do, and just to me that's not enjoyable. I like the game; it was a good game, and I made it to some end at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if I would call that a grind because that just seems like it's the game. It's all part of the game.
Well, that's the thing, and like I mentioned this to Matt as we were talking about it a little bit earlier, because I've put maybe 10 hours into Iceborne so far, and I already kind of feel like I've made significant progress in the story because I've kind of been ignoring the optional stuff, because my mentality is that at my level of gear, which is like very only slightly kind of scratching the surface of what's available to you in Iceborne, the hunts are tough. Like I have pretty bad armor for what I'm fighting, and like only just barely a master rank weapon. Essentially, I've like upgraded it twice maybe. So hunts take a decent amount of time, and like I have to be thinking about what I'm doing because monsters are still pretty hard and they hit hard, and I can't take too many hits because I still only have like end of high rank armor. That being said, I've just sort of like brute forced my way through a lot of the story hunts. And now it's like, let's go track down this elder dragon that's like the flagship monster. So it's like, is this actually the end? Or is it going to be one of those things where it's like, let's go do this thing, and then some complication happens, and now I'm going to be like trailing off, doing some side thing, and then the story is actually like a lot longer than I think it is? Yeah. Or is it that when Capcom is advertising that Monster Hunter Iceborne doubles the content of world, are they only saying that because now there's master rank versions of all these things that I've already fought, which are available to me right now as optional hunts, but I'm kind of ignoring them because I want to do the new stuff?
Yeah. I'm wondering if people are, because I've seen people just say grind, not in the typical sense, but just in the fact that something takes a lot of work to achieve as a grind.
Now, is the difference there that it's
I
Like,
think
do they say it's the same thing if it's a variety of things that is a grind, or is it the same things
It is a
over and over
grind
again that a grind?
only negative.
I view it as negative.
I mean, technically, you can view anything as a grind. Like when you think about like people use it like working their way up through a new company.
Yeah.
But if you
They're
love your job,
grinding,
is it still
right?
a grind?
Yeah, I think a lot of people like there are people that there's the saying that they like the grind, right? I guess maybe that
But-
sort of hinges on the
Well, then I would-
baseline negative connotations.
I would
of the
think grind would simply then mean just tough.
I don't even think it necessarily needs to be tough.
Work.
Like,
yeah,
like
it takes work. Yeah.
it takes work, but like, isn't that just time? Like, what if it was like, I don't know?
well, no, because time and work is not the same thing.
Well, it is. It is though. It's like if you
overtime.
have to put in a bunch of like overtime, if you're good at your job and it's easy to you, and you just have to put in a bunch of overtime, and you just have to wait 5 years because that's the average promotion time in your company.
I wouldn't call it the grind.
You wouldn't call that the grind. See,
I
I
don't
would
know.
actually.
I don't know.
I would actually say
it
that's the
seems-
grind.
It seems like a lot of semantics to me.
Because every situation is going to be different.
Because what's interesting is like when I hear people talk about something like in a grind, you'll hear like this is good. So like we're at the age now where like you'll sometimes see people from high school like after a long time, and if you ask them what they're doing, a lot will say I'm doing the daily grind. Usually, not always, but usually the people who say that have been in the same job for like 5 years or since high school, let's say. But the people who have a newer job or have been through 3 or 4 jobs or jump around don't ever say I'm doing the grind. They go, oh, I've been doing this. I've been working at this office. I've been trying a project here. We've been doing
Well,
this.
okay.
They don't say I'm in grinding.
That would imply that the grind is repetitive then.
Maybe. Yeah.
Well, all you're talking here is social semantics now because
Yeah.
it's all subjective. Like some people might say it and some people might not. You're just kind of talking about your particular experience with the slang where you're from.
Right. I guess the question more so comes in is it's like in terms of like if we bring it back to gaming, it's like why do we want access to everything right away?
I was gonna say as well when you mentioned the like getting the gold bars right off the bat or whatever. If I play a new game, and it's especially prevalent with like mobile games that are meant to get you hooked and just do the same thing over and over again, where
Doing the grind?
I start a game and then they give me like a bunch of currency as like a welcome thing or whatever,
Mhm.
just to like get you to understand how like spending it works and stuff like that. Like for example, let's say that I went on to Red Dead Online right now, which I've played like maybe an hour of total. If I went on to Red Dead Online right now and they were like, oh, here's 25 gold bars, go buy whatever you want with it. Whatever I go and spend that on intrinsically has less value to me than if I had got those bars myself and then bought it, because I have no appreciation for what the value of this currency is. I will just look at this.
Oh, that's a good point.
This gun or whatever, and I'll be like, oh, it literally cost me 0 effort. It's worthless.
That's a really good point. Because that's a really good point because like in GTA, for example, so new to Red Dead Online, but like if I'm talking about GTA, my profile's been there since 360, and I always drive my most expensive cars because I have never bought a shark card. So I'm always like, Jesus, like I literally spent months playing with Nate or playing with whoever, and like this is my car. Like I earned this car. I'm gonna fly this DeLorean. I'm gonna fucking drive this Z-Type.
Yeah,
whatever. Like this is my car.
Yeah, because you spent that time doing it, and it's like the satisfaction, the payoff was there, right?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
like, and when I was playing Grand Theft Auto Online on like 360, mostly was most of the time I spent on it. That game is obviously all about making money. So all the rewards are the things that you can buy with a lot of money, and all the mini games are to make you passive income and stuff like that, right? It's all about making money, spending and getting money. And I found it really boring because I had to do the same missions over and over again to get experience so that I could level up, to get access to the better missions and get more money. And I found it really boring because it was like they obviously designed that game so that the trickle in would be slow so that you're more tempted to just skip the wait and buy a shark card. So for the best thing for me that ever happened in Grand Theft Auto was when the people put those bounties on us and gave me like $40 million for free.
Oh yeah.
And then I just went and I bought everything. I bought all the tanks. I bought all the cars. I maxed out every car that I wanted in my garage. I customized, painted, modded them exactly the way I wanted them. And I had access to all of the like military vehicles and all that stuff. And that's when the game was the most fun for me, was when I had all the things and I could just screw around. Because playing the missions and stuff over and over again was not fun.
That's interesting because I was there during that era as well, and I bought a fair bit of stuff. And like I didn't buy absolutely everything, but I bought like one of at least everything. Like I bought an attack chopper. I bought like You know, I tried to like equip myself out so that I had like a good car. I had this, I had that. But I still have a bunch of those cars in my garages. I never drive them. I only drive the ones that I earned, more or less. I only drive like my Phoenix. I only drive my Z-Type that I bought. I only drive those. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I earned them. But like, it's weird that. See, that's interesting. That like I don't see GTA. I don't think of GTA as a grind, but it kind of really is. But it's just because I'm passively doing it. It's like, oh, like if I'm just doing heists. Like it's like, oh, of course I'm in GTA. I'm going to rob banks and fucking drive around and do getaway.
It's the expected gameplay, yeah.
And then slowly I'm just like, oh, I have $100,000. I'll buy a car. Like I don't ever think like, oh, I need $100,000 right now. Like, where's my credit card? Like my real one.
All right. Well, that's all we got for this week. You can catch us streaming on the Twitch there. Day One Patch, or no, twitch.tv/Day One Patch Media. Tim, you also stream. Give us your...
Not so much anymore. It's been a couple months since I streamed, and like my availability now with school and work is
gone. Eh?
It's not gonna allow for it. But I'm.
Because what do you stream in class?
I don't think that's legal.
It's probably legal, but they
It's
probably
probably legal,
they
but
probably
it's-
wouldn't like it. Yeah.
I mean, if I'm in the bathroom, pull a Dr. Disrespect and get banned. But
Or show your
yeah.
JJ.
What the hell?
yeah, I can do
Excuse
that.
me.
But yeah, it's my Twitch handle is that figures. I got a new computer, so hopefully
There you go. Yeah,
streams that I do now will be higher quality.
4K,
than
I'm
ones in
expecting.
the past. No,
4K at 60? You're not streaming 4K at 60?
I don't even have a 4K monitor, man.
HDR.
I don't think
with
mine's
Dolby
support-
Atmos.
No,
want
I got
streaming.
that 1080p monitor going.
Oh, okay.
I don't even have a 2K monitor.
But you can stream out to 4K.
I suppose, yeah. I just wouldn't be able to see it.
It'd be a big tax on your graphics card too for no reason.
Yeah, yeah. I deliver only the highest quality content.
Matt, we should stream E3 in 4K next year.
That's the most outrageous.
I'll bring over my TV.
It's still outrageous.
Why is that outrageous?
I don't even have a 4K box. I literally can't do it.
What are you talking about?
I can't do it.
What?
What's 4K that I can give you the 4K signal to your TV?
I'll bring over my PC.
It's too many things. Like, it's too many layers.
Your PC could probably stream 4K too.
Which one?
You're a big old guy.
No.
There. Huh?
No.
That thing can't stream
4K wasn't invented when I built that thing.
Yeah, that thing's like 6 years old now.
Yeah, it's friggin' old, man.
It can't stream to your computer?
Not at 4K. It can't render at 4K. The graphics card is unable to... It doesn't even know what 4K is.
Use your laptop then. Jesus.
I mean, I could possibly do that. But then I need an HDMI 2.0 cable, I think.
Yeah, pick one up at Best Buy.
No.
That's not even the standard yet, though.
HDMI 2.0?
Yeah.
I can't remember whether that's for 4K or HDR, but I know it's for something.
Just give me the best damn HDMI cable you got.
We'll take the lot.
Damn
The
it.
Insignia. Give me the Insignia one.
I'm not taking a fucking Insignia one.
Get a
Right now I
monster.
have an on one and it keeps cutting out.
Get a monster HDMI cable.
All right, we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.